previous session. Link to the class Nearpod is in the chat. Go ahead, quickly join the Nearpod. In this way, I'll be able to give you some good feedback. Link to the class Nearpod is in the chat. Okay. Allison, I can share the link to the test with you, and you can finish the test, absolutely. I haven't shared an email with you guys. I'm still working on trying to figure out a working link for the test. Okay, let's see how many of us are in Nearpod. Let's see. So Allison, my thing is still loading until it is loading. Okay, still loading. Can't get to the link yet, but I can share with you the link and I can accept you into the test and you can work on the test. If you have the link and you just need the session ID, there's one person for approval. Okay, there we go. We approved the person. If you need the session ID, I can type it in the chat and you can use the same link to hop into the test. In the meanwhile, my thing is loading. Okay, people, let's get started. We want to review quiz 1.15. I see Allison, Ben, only 2 people in class Nearpod. Remember, how are we supposed to learn math? If we just listen to it, we learn 30%. If we practice, we learn more than that. If we practice over and over, we get to 70%. If we practice over several days, we get to 95%, and so on and so forth, based on how our memory works. So if you are here in class and are just gonna watch me solve the questions, that is not gonna work. You might attend all building blocks that I'm gonna offer, but might not be proficient in math still. It's because you didn't do what you should have done to get better at math. Math is a discipline. It does require a lot of hard work. Some of these in our class or classmates, they'll probably tell you the amount of hard work they're putting in. And I can truly tell that people are working hard. This was the first question. First version of the first question. I see 3 versions of each. So Paulo purchased a shirt at a store. He paid $19.50 for the shirt. Roalo purchased the same shirt at store B for $22.35. How much more did Paulo save by purchasing the shirt at store A instead of store B?
Miss Sayed, did I get it right?
Let's see. There are people also testing and I'm approving. There's several screens going on. And let me see, I'll bring this answer screen right here so I can check. Ben, excellent. Jazzy, excellent. Loloni, that's how you will solve the problem. Alessandra, Allison, Bella. I'm still waiting to see how you will do. The keywords, Ben, in this question are which ones that tell you that you are supposed to subtract?
The keyword for me were save, because then they want to know what the difference is, because it's saying how much did they save.
Excellent. So the word saved. So how much money did this save? So definitely the bigger number is 22.35. That goes at the top. The smaller number 1950 goes at the bottom. And you can subtract and get the answer. This is one of the very simple questions on this assessment. But upcoming questions are slightly more complex than these. This is how you get the answer. And some of us, very good, Loni. Excellent, excellent. Let's move on. If the next question is quite similar, has to do with decimals and subtraction. Go ahead, people, read this question. Melissa needs 3.87 feet of string to use as a border for her poster. Melissa finds a piece of string that is $4.20, not $4, 4.25 feet long. How much string will Melissa have left over? What operation do we do in this question?
Subtraction.
How do we know?
Because it says left over.
Excellent. And remember, the bigger number in this one is 425. The smaller is 387. I am not going to show the detailed subtraction here unless somebody will request. If you are subtracting, remember to keep the bigger number at the top. That just makes subtraction more easier. If you'll subtract, you'll get to the answer. And remember, lining up decimal is important. We won't look into this one too. Pretty simple one. And still, there are some extremely fast people who solved it. And Ben, I agree to you. Jazzy, I agree to you. Liloni heading in the right direction. But we don't need to solve this one. Pretty easy one. Third one, look at this question. Tell me what should we be doing in this one. Tell me the keywords. Once you figure it out, you can hop on the mic or you can share in the chat.
I think we're going.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the 0.35 out of 100?
0.35 out of 100? Which one 0.35?
It says 9.35 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Are the decimals are going to be out of 100, right?
Yeah, 100th. 9.35. The goal is 18 miles. So far, they have achieved 9.35. So how much more still needs to be achieved? How long will his long run need to be to meet his goal? How long should the long run be? That means we're still...
I think we're going to subtract.
Excellent. We are going to subtract.
And I think we're going to subtract 18 by 9.
Yes. And remember the decimals. 18 doesn't have decimals, but we can say 18.00. I try to type it out, but it doesn't turn out to be so good. So it's 18.00 in case you are having a hard time subtracting, minus 9.35. Yeah, it has some zeros. Go ahead, people, subtract. Let me see how you subtract with the zeros. If you all know how to borrow and stuff. Let me see.
I just did the math in my head.
Very good, Ben. I agree to you. Some of you guys are actually very fast. And some of you who will still need some guidance on this one, we can learn. I'm going to borrow from 8. It becomes a 7. The very last one becomes 10. And the middle one becomes a 9. And now it is easy. 10 minus 5, 5. 9 minus 3, 6. 17 minus 9 is 8. There you go. Let's look at the next question. I believe starting next question, questions are a little bit more. Yeah. Marcus is making cookies. The recipe says 2 whole 1/4 cups of flour are needed for each batch. So let's see. I can say each batch means for one batch, I need 2 whole 1/4 cups of flour, right? For each batch. Marcus wants to make 3 batches of cookies. So if someone wants to make 3 such batches, what should they do?
Multiply 2
So
1/4 by 3 because it's only one batch.
very good. So if one batch requires 2 whole 1/4, then to find for 3 batches, I will do 2 whole 1/4 times 3. And in case you are having a hard time multiplying these fractions, we can review it pretty quickly. To multiply these, remember 3 is the same as 3 over 1. And here, and the first fraction has a denominator of 4. I will make it into a mixed number. And the second fraction is 3 over 1. The first fraction, I will make it into an improper fraction. And let's see how. I will do 4 times 2. I am multiplying 4 times 2. It gives me 8. And then I add the numerator, that is 1 in this case. Then I do 8 plus 1. And that gives me 9. So the new numerator will be 9. And you have to multiply. And let's see how you guys do that. Let me see your answers. So Ben, you got a decimal answer. When the question is in fractions, they're expecting a fraction answer. Just a little thing to remember. Whenever the question is in fractions, they're expecting you to give them an answer that is in fractions also. Then I will multiply my numerators. 9 times 3 gives me 27. And denominator 4 times 1 is 4. And how many 4s can go into 27? Or we can also do some long division here. Let's see. Top number is 27. So
35.
35?
6.
27. Top number in, bottom number out. Let's see how many 4s can go into 27. And 4 times 8 is 32, but that doesn't work. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 6 works. Is that true for everybody? Let's see. Yeah, very good, Ben. I agree with you. Very good, Jazzy. Excellent. I agree with you. Liloni mixed number, I'm still waiting to see. So I have 6 wholes. That is 24. And you subtract. You get a remainder of 3. And this remainder of 3 helps you write down the fraction part of it. So 3 over the denominator is 4. That's where I get the 4 from, 3 over 4. So 6 wholes, 3/4 is the answer. When you multiply 2 whole 1/4 by 3. We pause here. If there are any questions, let us know. Dempsey.
Do you know what the session ID number is for the test thing?
Absolutely. I'm going to type it here in the chat. TX721F29. It's in the chat. And you will need my approval to get into the test, and I'm keeping an eye on it as people are trying to get into the test. I am approving you guys. I am doing a lot of tasks at the same time. Let's look at this one. I know some of us did have questions over how to do these fraction kind of problems. And let me see. Ranaya, how are we doing? Ranaya. Question says, Brittany's making hair bows to sell at a craft show. Each hair bow requires 3/4 yards of ribbon. Each means 1. Wow, what happened to my Nearpod? Let's get it back to size. Okay, let's reset it to 100. There we go. Do you guys even see it? Nope, it got lost. Let me refresh it. There I am. So Each hair bow requires 3/4 yards of ribbon. So I'm going to start writing it down. So one hair bow, I'm just going to write down one bow, requires 3/4 yards. Brittany plans to make 50 bows. How many yards of ribbon does Brittany need to purchase? Who can tell me what operation should I use here? Dempsey, do you have, yeah?
I think it's division maybe, but I might be wrong.
What makes you think I should divide?
It's multiplication.
Ben thinks multiplication. But Lean, what makes you think it is division? For one,
I
yeah?
just read the question wrong. It's actually multiplication.
You think it's multiplication. So for 50 bows, I will have to multiply, right? Because one bow requires 3/4. So for 50 bows, I will have to multiply 3/4 by 50. So that I can get for 50 such bows. And people, remember 50 is the same as 50 over 1. Dempsey, do you have your TSDS ID to get into the test? If you don't, you will have to request.
Yes, I do.
Perfect, perfect. I didn't see you yet in the test. And how do you multiply? You simply multiply your numerators together, 3 times 50, and the denominators together, 4 times 1. Are there some numbers that are even numbers and can be simplified? Very good, Ben. That is a very quick answer. I agree to you. Very good, Jazzy. I agree to you. Liloni, I'm still waiting to get to see your answer. It should be 150 over 4, but how about I reduce some numbers? This 50 and 4, I simplify. This 50, I simplify by 2, becomes 25. 4 becomes a 2. I simplify by 2. Then 3 times 25 is 75. And 2 times 1 is 2. Then you also have to write it as a mixed number. Let's go ahead and figure that out. Top number is 75, top in, bottom out, bottom is 2. 75 divided by 2. How many 2's can go into the 7? 3. And that is 6. With a remainder of 1. Then I will bring down the 5. I have 15. How many 2's can go into 15? There are 7 2's. Very good. There are 7 2's that go into 15. And you get 14 with a remainder of 1.
Miss,
Yes.
is it okay if I just keep the 4, 4, and then instead of 25, I keep it at 50? Because in my opinion, it's kind of confusing when you simplify it.
Okay, Lynn, you can do that. I will show you what will happen in the end. So you have 37, remainder is 1. So the remainder will become the numerator. And the denominator is the 2. Right from here. Denominator is the 2. So 37 1/2 is the answer. Lean, if you did not do the simplification, you end up getting an answer that is 37 wholes 2/4. Is that true? Then you can simplify it over here. And you can say that your final answer is 37 wholes 1/2. On my today's assessment, there might be some answers in fractions. If you don't enter in a simplified version of your answer, it will not accept your answer. It will mark it wrong. So STAR test will have a lot of open-ended questions from now onwards, and they expect you to simplify your answers.
I'm
Push,
kind of
yes.
confused on how to simplify, so I kind of came in here hoping that you would explain it.
Okay, Lynn, that's a good idea. You are here on this part. I'm just going to go ahead, copy this 354.1. Now remember. And here's my whiteboard. Let's grab a clean whiteboard. Okay. So Lean, I had 3 times 50 over 4 over 1. JJ, link to the TFAR, but just you can also use the session ID, JJ. The session ID is this one. Is that good enough for you? This is the session ID. So if this is a fraction, Lean, can you tell me 2 numbers that are even and can be simplified?
You already said 4 and 50, so
What if you didn't knew that? Then, so you understand this part, right?
I find it a bit confusing because in math, I really don't understand anything. So I go to my dad and he tutors me. So because of that, he teaches me in a different way, and it's kind of confusing to learn a different one.
Well, Lean, math is a discipline. It does come with practice. Keep attending those sessions. This is my only suggestion. We cannot give you all the knowledge in one session or cannot clarify it fully in that one session, especially things like fractions and decimals and stuff like that you have been struggling with since a long time. It takes some practice, but it will get better. So keep attending and always ask questions and stop the class. It's fine to slow it down. This session is not to be run fast, and for those who are already fast, if those who are fast, they can request me other stuff and I can definitely provide them stuff that will be for them. Here I do notice that both these numbers in this fraction, 50 and 4, were even numbers that click to my mind that I can simplify them. Even numbers can be simplified by 2. So I decided to simplify the numerator and the denominator by 2. When I am multiplying fractions, as long as I can simplify one numerator by one denominator, I will simplify it. No matter if they are not on top of one another. This one is not on top of one another, but I will simplify it because one is a numerator and the other one is a denominator. And JJ, you are approved. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that is how I went up into these fractions and replaced these numbers by the simplified numbers. But we have several fraction problems today, and Lean, you will get to see. I will slow down whenever I am simplifying fractions, and that will be helpful. Then in the numerator, I had 3 times 25. That is how I got the 75. Then 2 times 1 in the denominator, we end up getting a 2.
Miss Sayed?
Yes.
Why is it 725 over 2?
725 over 2. It is 75 over 2. It is 75 over 2. This 50 became a 25 and times 3. When I multiplied these, I got 75. The denominator is 2 times 1. When I multiplied them, I got the 2. Ben, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Let's see the other question, because this is the one we have seen and will not make much sense if I'm just going to repeat the same one. But we do have a lot of fraction questions in this quiz, 1.15. If there are quizzes that you think you will need more help on, we will always look at them more. This start of the semester, it seems like we have too many graded quizzes, but it will slow down. It will slow down. You will not have so many quizzes every week. Okay, so let's look at this next one and see if that's a fraction question. The Harper family is traveling. This is a decimal question. Do we struggle with decimals? You don't know how to simplify it at the end, Lynn, and I will help you out with that. Let's see. Let's create this one. Let's look at a fraction thing. I do have the quiz questions right here. And let me get a fraction for you that we can look at. Let's look at this one and see if it requires any fraction thing. So we have a question that is 4.5 times 3. Probably this question is not in the Nearpod. This question is a made-up question, so we can look at some fractions before we move on, so we can learn some simplification. Let's see if that even arises in this question. Let's go ahead, try this one out. What do you guys think we should do first?
Turn the 4.5 into a mixed fraction, I think.
Improper?
Improper fraction then.
Yeah. How much is the improper for this one?
9/2.
9/2. Everybody understands 9/2? That we multiplied 4 times 2, that we got 8. Then we add the 1, we got 9. Then what do we do next from here?
You put a 1 under the 3 to make it 3/1.
Yeah, 3 is the same as 3/1, people. So we can write down 3/1. Then to multiply fractions, what do we do?
You just multiply straightforward. So 9 times 3 is 27, and then 2 times 1 is 2.
Very good. So 27/2. And Victoria is also guiding you guys in the chat. She's typing out. What do we do from here? Star test will not accept answers that look like these.
We divide it. We divide 27 by 2.
We divide 27 by 2. So
But
the top...
I also don't know how to divide either.
No problem, Lean. Which number goes in the house?
27.
Yeah, 27. Top one. The bottom one is 2. That goes out here. Then I'm going to consider this first one. How many 2's, these 2's can go into the 2?
1.
So there's a 1 right here. Right? So 2 times 1 is 2. You subtract. And that is a 0. I won't write down a 0. But I'll just bring down the 7.
Is it you? What do you subtract?
Okay. How do I know what I'm subtracting? I multiply these two. I multiply these two, Lean. So I get 2 times 1 is 2, and that's where I got the subtraction number 2.
Is it the 2 outside of the box or inside of it?
This 2 is outside the box. And the subtraction 1 is right under the 27 2, the 2 of the 27. That's how you get which number you're supposed to subtract by. Then you will have to multiply 2 times 1. Then you know I'm going to subtract 2. So that leaves you with a 0. I didn't write down a 0. You bring down the 7. Let's see if that makes sense. How many 2's can go into the 7?
3.
Count by 2.
3.
3. So see, we can put in a 3 here. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we can subtract. We have a remainder of 1. That's how I get to know which number I'm subtracting. In this case, I got a 6. How? I did 2 times 3. I got 6. So I'm subtracting the 6 with a remainder of 1. Ultimately, my answer is 13. See, there's a red 1 and there is a 3. 13. Remainder is 1. This remainder is the new numerator. And denominator is the original denominator you have in the question. That is 2. So 13 whole 1/2 is the answer. Definitely, it is a lot of steps. It takes practice. It takes practice, and we are here to do that. Remember, although I am a teacher, I do understand what you guys are going through. I do understand that these complex topics will not come to you in a day or so. It will take almost an entire semester to master these. I have started receiving a lot of emails that people are panicking because of the TFAR assessment. I'm going to be generous. I'm not the person who is here to not help you succeed. If you're not doing well, attend my building blocks. I'm going to have a TFAR building block next week, and we will look at the questions together. If you will show me in the Nearpod that you are doing what we are doing and showing me you're learning, definitely I'm going to add points to it. We definitely want to see you succeed and not just fail the class. There will be a lot of opportunities for you to grow if you are making the effort. We can just go over 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe questions in one of these sessions because we do want to go into details. But one session is not sufficient to learn everything. We have to keep attending. And remember, I can also tell you from personal experience, there was a time I learned swimming. Definitely, it was 2 to 3 years ago, and you'll be very shocked to hear that I learned it so late. Yes, the country I'm coming from, we didn't have swimming as a skill for almost everybody, and I wanted to just learn. It took a lot of effort, and especially the breathing part. It took me more than 6 months to learn. But every day when I would go to the pool, I'm thinking, why not just give up? It's so hard. I know this is where you guys are for math right now. And some of you will be, oh, Miss Syed, swimming, you're kidding. That's so easy. But that's how I feel for math. That's easy. But we are here in it together. And someday, I assure you, you won't master it, then that is fine. Everybody doesn't have to master math. But you will have a lot better understanding of a lot of concepts that you're confused. And even if you get to that point, we are successful. If you understand a lot of the concepts we will go over in math, you are successful. And really great. We just want to see progress, where you started and where you are right now. If you learned, definitely that's great. And let's go and look at one of the other questions. So we can also look in context of the quiz. So for those who are here, especially to see how quiz questions have to be solved, this assignment is due today. There is no building block tomorrow. So if anybody is here for the quiz, we can also go over the questions. And we will also always slow down with fractions and decimals also. Some of us are struggling with decimals. Okay, let's look at this question. The Harper family is traveling to visit friends. The distance to friends' house is 276.45 miles. This is the distance. It takes the family 5.82 hours to complete the trip. And let's draw a picture and see what that means. So they went to a road trip to go to a family. This is the entire trip. It is so long. It is 276.5 miles. It will be hard to fit all that in here, but we'll just go right here. Miles, MI. This is how long the trip is. How long does it take them? It takes them, let's see, 5.82 hours. This trip takes them 5.82 hours. And the question is asking, rate is found by dividing distance by time. They gave you the formula. Can someone tell me how will they solve this question? They gave you the formula. Rate is found by dividing distance by time.
So I would divide 276.45 miles by 5.82.
Very good. because the distance is 276. The distance is 276.45, and we will divide it by time, that is 5.82. Now, these two numbers have 2 decimal places, right? How do I get rid of the 2 decimal places in both the numbers? Both of them, fortunately, both of them have 2 decimal places. And that is not the case all the time. This first number has 2 decimals, 0.45. The second one is 0.82, so 2 decimal places. You move it yourself, JJ says. Yeah. But JJ, we gotta explain it in words to our classmates, so they'll fully know it. When there are 2 decimal places, that means in our head, we are removing them. In our head, we're actually multiplying both the numbers by 100. 100 has 2 zeros, and that removes the 2 decimal places. And this long division is something some of us might need. So if I'm going to rewrite this question, I multiply the first number by 100 and the next number by 100, then it keeps the answer. It will not distract the answer. It will keep the answer because both the numbers have increased by 100 times. Now the new question will look like 276.45. Not 0.45, just 45. The decimal got moved. I can also put in a comma here. 27,645 divided by 582. This is how the question looks like. And let me see if anybody got there. Let's see, where's this question? Very good, Ben. The decimal is in the correct place. The answer is correct. Jazzy, very good. Liloni, that's how you set it up. Very good, very good. For those of us who are with me and would want to learn the division, let me copy the question down somewhere and show you the long division that will happen in this case. Let me show you the long division. I took a picture of the question really quick, so I have it handy as I go to the whiteboard. Some skills that you can also use to quickly get the numbers. The numbers are, I also want you guys to write down multiples of 582. People, go ahead, tell me the multiples of 582, at least first 8 multiples of 582. That will make division so easy. Go ahead, tell me the multiples of 582 in the chat. People, go ahead. And I'm going to set it up. So 27,645 goes here. This is a long division question if somebody is struggling with dividing. If you will go along with us, this will make, yeah, times 2 is how much? 582 times 2. Help me with the multiples of 5. There we go. Ben and Lean, very good. So we will write down 1,164 and more multiples. That's for me. Jamie? What is 582 times 3? 1,746. Okay.
I'm supposed to be in another class right now.
Go ahead, hop off, Derek.
Bye, JJ. See you tomorrow.
We need more multiples of 582 times 4. Times 4 gives you 2,328. So, whenever you're dividing, it is so good to have these multiples listed out. It will make life so much more easier. More multiples, 582 times 5. 2000. Very good, Jazzy. Thank you. 2009. Whenever I'm dividing like numbers like these, this is something that will come handy. I will spend at least 2 minutes writing out these multiples and so that I can make the problem easier. And then 582 times 6. And you can just tell me till 7 because that's how much room we have. 3492. One more multiple I will need from you. One more multiple I will need from you. Times 7. 582 times 7. Oh, wow, Jazzy. 4072. No, 4074. Yes, there we go. We've got all the multiples. Now let's see. If division is confusing, look at the first digit. 2. How many 582 can go into 2? None. I will ignore it. There's 0, none. How many 582s can go into 27? None, right? 27 is too little. Let's look at this one. 276, right? How many 582s can go into 276? Still a smaller number.
0.
That is why it will have 3 zeros on top of it. But we know that there's some 582 that can go into 2764. How many 582s? I'm going to go stop here, right? 4. Very good. I will use a green color this time. And a 4 right on top of the 4, right? And this number is 2328. Lynn, is that making sense to you? There are several people in the class. Yeah, who do definitely need help with that. Go ahead, people, subtract the two numbers and tell me the difference. Tell me the difference. 2, 7, 6, 4, minus 2, 3, 2, 8. Several digits. The difference is only 4. It's not possible. That's not what I got. The difference is excellent. Emiliano, you're also solving this question with you. I was thinking all the ones who know these are withdrawn at the time I'm going into details. I will bring down the 5 because I haven't yet divided by 5. So right here is the 5. Now, how many 582s can go into 4,365? You don't have the next one, but I'll inform you it is 7 times, just so that we can save some time. So I can put in the 7 here. And 7 times is 4,074. People subtract. Here, there's an interesting thing going on. Subtract. Tell me how much. 4365 minus 4074. Did someone subtract?
291.
291. That's what I got. 291. But I don't have any more digits after the 5, right? Then what can I do? I can add a decimal.
You can add a decimal point.
Very good. This is
And
a decimal
0.
point. Yeah, this is a decimal point. This allows me to add a 0 after the 5. And now I will bring the 0 down. So how many 582s can go into 2,910? Very good, really precise number. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I will just put in a 5 here. 47.5 is the answer. 2910, when you subtract, you get no remainder. You divide it completely. Yeah. JJ, question?
What do you do if the pattern, like, if it makes an infinite pattern? Like, say
Very
you
good.
just get a 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5.
Very good. Well, this is the answer. If you get 4, 5, 4, 5, Does someone know what to do about it? I'm going to open up the whiteboard. This is a bonus question. Does someone know a 4-5 repeating one? How will you write down? If there's a repeating 4-5,
I know,
whiteboard is open. Go write it down and tell me who's going to write on it.
but I'm not really sure how you like say it. There's like a
Very good.
sign you're supposed to put on it.
Very good. Lean, absolutely. So remember, you did earn a
That was me,
bonus
by the
point
way.
for me that can be added onto any of your lowest quizzes. Absolutely. So what can you do? You will have maybe 1.45 repeating, right? So you have 1.45. Repeating means there will be a dash on top of the 4-5. And the person reset 1.45, 45, 45, 45 ongoing. This is a rational number. Ben, there we go. Very good, Ben. Extra credit, Lean, extra credit. That's me. Thank you so much for attending. Next week, we will have math building blocks for 1 hour. It will be Monday till Friday.
1 hour?
Because this week I'm also doing beginning BOY, boy assessments and stuff. I'm going to hop into the next session at 1:30. So it wasn't practical to hold 1 hour of building blocks with you guys. But next week, Monday to Friday, 1 hour. And Derek's cat is on the cam. We end class here. Thank you so much for attending. If there are questions, don't hesitate to send me an email.